Well, first of all, Dex, welcome home.
Thanks, Greg. I was looking forward to coming home, but it's been great since I've been here.
Yeah, look, it's been, what, 3 years since you've been able to come home?
4 years, a bit over 4 years since I've been home, Greg, so well overdue.
And we're in familiar surroundings here at Kentuckiana and Cran and Chrissy's bar, so things feel pretty comfortable, I'm picking.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, there's a lot of good memories in this room alone, so at this bar sometimes too, when Cranberry put the shout on, so it's great to come see Dalgetties and then everyone else.
All right, it's off the back of another record-breaking season for you. What a remarkable effort to get over $15 million in stakes, and we'll talk about some of the reasons why you got to that, but it's a pinch yourself moment sometimes, isn't it?
It probably is what it is, Greg. When you're in the moment and in the season, you don't really sort of think about it, but sit down and look back on it. You do pinch yourself really. Before I left, the great New Zealand to go over there, you never think something like that was going to go. So it's been a ride.
All right, you've won over 300 races this season, and like I say, amassed over the 15 million, which has grabbed you the North America Driver of the Year again for the fourth consecutive time. I know what it meant to you back in 2019 because you went over there less than a year earlier, but to go 4 in a row, that's starting to shape like some sort of record.
Yeah, I don't know what the figures are on a Greg, but it's an honour really, to be honest. But it's it shows the calibre of horses I've got to drive. During this year, it's wouldn't be possible without some of those horses and some great horses I got to drive as well.
That's the racing riders, isn't it? So it's voted on by them. They have designated that you're the best driver. Yeah,
so points. I think there's 50 votes all up or something like that, Greg. I actually round about that number. So they vote for every category of the awards. With the horses and the people involved.
Numerically, 300 wins sounds like a lot, but when I looked up the records, Aaron Merriman, he's driven about 860, so he must be getting around the tracks. And when I look back at 2019, the first year you won it, you drove about 450 or 460. Is that about getting on the better horses and not travelling as much? Or when back in 2019, were you just going everywhere because it was all new?
Yeah, well, back then I did, a full 12 months, so I was January and February, January right through to December I raced, so it was an entire year. This year I didn't start till March, so I had took January and February off. So my numbers were down on drives this year, which was quite good actually. It helped the body out quite a bit, and just a little bit less overnight racing. Sort of skipped quite a few days just to keep the body fresh and concentrate on the bigger races as much as I could.
Yeah, well, Tim Tetrick had about 250 more wins than you, but he was $750,000 behind you stake-wise. When you hear the names like Tetrick, and he's been out here, and Yannick Gingras and the Millers and all these great names, and yours is up above theirs, it's quite surreal in many ways.
It is, I was always a massive fan of American racing and always idolised the boys over there, and, you never think you'd be above the point, in a year. So it is a little surreal, to be honest, Greg. And just got to keep driving on, I guess.
You're well established there now. Tell me what it's like hanging out with these guys and how they treat you. I suppose it's like entering the All Blacks for the first time, and once you've been there for 3 or 4 years, you're part of the furniture. Is that how it feels now?
Yeah, definitely. I get on great with all of them. They're all good fellas, and it's pretty busy during the year, but we, still get a chance to have a little fun together and off the track, and so it's call them mates really, to be honest, Greg, but fierce competitors on the track.
How do you do that? How do you relax? What do you do? Is there golf involved? I'm picking there's a couple of beers from time to time, but how do you relax off the track when you're working virtually every day?
Yeah, there's a little bit of golf involved, but not enough really. Should be more, but just have a beer. We if we're travelling somewhere, we'll have a beer on the way home on the plane or something like that. And Lexington's a great place for us to go. We can go race during the day at the Red Mile and then go downtown there and have a nice meal and a couple of drinks. So, we get a chance to kick the feet up every now and then, but during the busy time, it's you sort of just go into one track to the other, then sort of head home and get ready for the next day.
Dex, what's it like media-wise, looking from afar? It's not in the top 4 or 5 sports in America, so how arduous is it, and how often are you approached by the media over there?
Each track have their own sort of setup. It's not like trackside or.
So they have their own channel.
They have their own channel, right?
Yep.
So the Meadowlands do a good job of good broadcast, and some tracks don't really have much at all, Greg. So it's pretty easy. You can slip by without getting interviewed quite a lot. But there's the Wendy Ross who works for USTA, stuff like that. When you get around the green circuit, they'll always be there. So they're always catching up with you.
The one horse, the one name that stood out in 2022, Bulldog Hanover. What a remarkable season. We'll touch on some of those performances, and one in particular, obviously, but you didn't drive him originally, did you?
No, I didn't, Greg. He's, obviously a Canadian horse. He did his 2-year-old and 3-year-old racing all up there. Never left Canada.
Jody Jamieson, did he drive him?
Yeah, Jody Jamieson drove him. He was a good horse. He was a very good horse. I think his really only miss up there was a North American Cup when I think he was favoured to win it, and just didn't put in a good race. And then he come back early 4-year-old racing up there in Canada, and then when they sent him to Meadowlands to Noel Daly's, they asked me to drive him, so I jumped on board then.
Well, you jumped on board, and as I say, one in particular race, the William Horton Memorial, which is in the top 4 or 5 races in the States. He blew the track record, the world record, away. What an amazing feeling that must have been.
It really was. You win big races and you get a good feeling, but when I was pulling up, when I seen the time flash up there and he broke the world record, it was, I sort of got a little shiver myself, honestly, Greg. It was a great feeling, and there's sort of a bit of not pressure, but build up, because after his miles he put in the weeks before, people were sort of waiting for him, thinking he could do it. So. But it was a great feeling.
All right, he came out of, as you say, the 7 hole and worked his way to the front, and he actually took the front off Rocky Road Hanover, who you used to drive, and I think I heard somewhere that was the decision you had to make, get off him to drive him, and it's a pretty good decision in the end, because I think Rocky Road Hanover only won a couple of races this year.
Yeah, great horse in his own right, Greg, and I've driven him his whole, all 3-year-old career, and started his 4-year-old career, and then when I got the offer on Bulldog, I had to make the call, and Bulldog Hanover put in a great mile in Canada before he come down, and impressed me enough to give him a shot and jump off Rocky Road, and I'm glad I did. And it's never a nice situation when you got to jump off a horse you're sort of connected to like that, and they'd been good to me, but you don't get those chances very often.
He got to the 3/4 and 120.3, I think it was. So it was on from then. And when you go 145 and 8, was there a moment there where you thought afterwards, gee, I could have actually gone quicker than that, or I might have gone quicker in the first or second quarter? Could he have gone quicker?
I think he might have been able to, Greg, to be honest, that night. I mean, I sort of, when the 3/4 popped up, time popped up, turning for home, I sort of thought...
Can you see that out there?
Yeah, we have a timer on the inside of the track, so
Yep.
for each quarter, the time will pop up so we know how fast you're going. So I kind of had in my head that I maybe had to get to 3/4 a little faster than that, but I underestimated how fast he is on the end of a strong mile. So the half set up perfectly for him early. There was sort of speed until I got the front, and he's just such a powerful horse, and then still was off a 25-something quarter on the end of that. So, he was doing all the hard work for sure.
So he won 14 of 16 and close to $2 million, and he was busy in the breeding barn in the same year, and he's fully booked for this year. Gee, it'd be amazing if we could get him down under, if you like, and have access to that semen, because he'd be very much sought after.
Yeah, he would be. He's a magnificent looking horse, Greg. Big, strong, powerful horse, and you obviously see him when you see him go. Quite a few people come and see him race later in the season and watched him on TV, and then see this, nothing like watching him on in person, which is probably true. So, yeah, it'd be great if he can come down here. Hopefully they do bring him down here. I'm sure there's some plans in the making for him to come down here, and hopefully in a few years we'll see some of them run around here.
Dex, never fear to compare horses of different eras, and we've seen you drive some amazing horses in your time. But up there, is he the best that you've? I mean, Bettor's Wish was a really good horse, like an exceptional horse. Is he better?
He beat us, which was a great horse, Greg. But I don't think I've driven a horse that's better than Bulldog Hanover. To be honest, it's just his raw power and obviously a big set of lungs. He was amazing. I think the fractions he could wheel off, and some of those big miles too, Greg. I was struggling to pull him up after the race. Usually you go those times, and it was quite often at the Meadowlands there. Time I'd pulled him up and turned around, every other horse was off the track back in the barn. So that just showed you how big a motor he had.
I'm intrigued by how you get your drives over there, and obviously you don't get a driving fee, and you're on 5%, and 5% of 15 million is a lot of money, Dexter. But good luck to you.
Uncle Sam's been coming in a bit.
But I mean, the ability to earn that sort of money, I think at your peak here, you were probably sort of $3 million in stake money. So at 5%, you're certainly making a lot more where you are now, but it's not just about the money. But how do you get the drives? You talk about the judges over there, and I'd like to know a little bit more about that. They're effectively the stewards. So a set of fields come out. How do you get your drives?
Well, you're listed on, you have your trainers to drive for. If you've driven a horse the week before, the trainers just list you. So when the fields come out, they just list you back down on when the fields come out, and you might be listed on 3 or 4 in the race, and then you just got to make a call on which one you want to drive.
But you do that by ringing or getting in contact with the judges.
So then I'll ring the judges and say,
I want this one.
Yep, they'll just run through, okay, race 1, you've taken the 3 or the 7, you say you take the 7. And then, if I don't have a drive in that race at all, and somebody else has a double or a triple, you usually pick up one of them, but the judges usually control that. They'll put you down on that one. The trainers usually ring up and give backup drivers in case somebody can't drive them. So, but really it's all to do with the judges. Yep, you deal with them the whole time.
Yeah.
So each track has their own judges. So.
Yeah, right. So it's not managed per se. It's not like, say, the Australian jockeys, for example.
Yeah, no managers at all over there. So it's just all yourself, and then talking to trainers and working with the judges.
A couple of those other horses I wanted to touch on that you've driven, Manchego. Wow.
Yeah, she was amazing. I got on her earlier on too. She was in flight. She was an extremely fast trotter.
She set the world record, didn't she? She went 49?
She did, yep, 49 at the Red Mile. I think she had the record on a 1,000-metre track as well. So, she was amazing. She had a great career, and before I got on her, she'd already won the Hamiltonian Oaks. She was already a great horse, and Yannick was driving her, and he had to choose between her and Atlanta. So, I mean, it was always a tough choice, and I got on Manchego, so it was a good ride with her too. But she was a weird going trotter if you looked at her, but her gait and her style, but she was sitting behind her was, a beautiful feeling really.
Yeah, and you've had this incredible run in the Breeders' Crown as well. You've racked up 12 wins already, twice 4 on a day. I know we try and, I suppose, compare it to our Jules Day. Is it comparable?
Yes, it is. It's a big build-up. They say, I think they're saying over there, it all comes down to the Breeders' Crown. So, it's at the end of the year. I think what makes it so special is the horses have had tough years, racing and travelling around, and then they've still got to pick themselves up for the Breeders' Crown. So, and survive eliminations the week before. So, it is a good build-up. It's a big night of racing, and so they're enjoyable to win those.
Dex, you've always been a big family man, and family's so very important to you. How do you keep in touch with New Zealand harness racing, and what is it that that drives you, I suppose, to follow home? Is it family?
Yeah, family and friends, Greg. New Zealand's always going to be where the heart is. It's spend so much of your life here, but I really enjoy keeping up with it. RJ rings me every second day and tells me a couple of things, but
they wouldn't be short phone calls.
Yeah, no, usually brings me on the way to work, so if he gets me a couple of minutes, that's okay. But I like keeping up with all the results and try watching races live. Cup day and all that. Get them going and watch them and enjoy it. So it's good to keep up with it all.
Do you miss that? Is that the one day you miss?
The first year I was over there, I really missed it. It was such a great day of racing. There, something like Kaikoura as well was always like a special day to go and race a horse. It's a good feeling, but now I don't probably miss it as much as I want to be there. Just be on the track there, just probably keeping, as long as I can watch them, it's okay.
All right, you didn't get that race, that New Zealand Cup. You went so close in 2009, as we know, for this very establishment. Better Strike, of course, and Chris and me went a great race in it. Is it still... It wouldn't irk you, I suppose, but it'd be nice to have it in the bank, wouldn't it?
It would be, Greg, obviously, New Zealand Cup. It's, never got that one ticked off, and we'll probably never will. So, it's... I guess I can take it that I was there when the old man won it with Mainland Banner, so we got a photo taken in the New Zealand Cup one day anyway, and I guess that will be the highlight of the Cup for me.
Is that an insight to the future for Dexter Dunn that you say you possibly never will? Is life in America it now from an employment point of view?
Oh, you never say never, Greg. I think there's no plans at the moment to come home for racing wise. So yeah, I'm firmly going to stay in America and keep driving over there and give it a shot.
Just back to the family, your dad winning a couple of premierships, your sister-in-law Jenna now in partnership with him, Johnny honing in on 1,500 driving wins. I know how proud he is of you, but conversely, you must be of him as well.
Oh, 100%. It was, he works hard at it, Johnny, and Jay and Jenna and that. So, but Johnny's doing great. He's had a great last few years, and I think it's his mentality or his personality out there too. Makes it special. So, yeah, he's doing great, Johnny, and he hopefully keeps it up.
And pretty special watching what Sunday Sun's been able to achieve. I'm sure you've enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. He's put in some great races. It was always awesome to watch him. So it's I remember watching him earlier on. You had to hold your breath when you used to watch him. But he could always do it. But now he's just you love. I love watching those dominant staying trips he puts in.
Yeah, phenomenal his efforts in the Dominion, as we know. And what about the times, Dex? 3:56 a couple of years ago. You probably wouldn't have thought that was possible back when you were driving 4 or 5 years ago?
No, not at all, Greg. I know times are getting faster sort of all the time, but over 2 miles, that's a massive effort from a trotter. So, you go faster than the paces that same week or, in the Dominion and the Cup. So it was great effort.
Lucky enough to be at Menangle when you won your Miracle Mile with CC, as Chris and me was known around here. I think it was about 2014, and you went about 149. Still one of the most special wins for you?
Yep, it is definitely one of the most special wins, Greg. Even when I get asked over there, I said Miracle Mile is still one of the biggest highlights. I remember watching you be in town there, and there was some great races, and New Zealand horses go over there. Watching Christian Cullen win it, his dad win it, it sort of gives you shivers. So we were on second the year before with him, and we got the win that year. It was very special.
What do you think the New Zealand or Australasian horse is capable of? Because my field marshal, who used to drive as well, went 46.9. Are we that far away from the Bulldog Hanover times these days?
Well, I don't think so, Greg. I mean, it's probably just a style of racing that's, making our times a little quicker because it will go pretty hard for the whole entire mile. So, yeah, but not far away at all. I mean, obviously, my field marshal going that time at Menangle was fast track as well. So, the pacing breed down under here is strong as well. So it's hopefully they can keep getting quicker.
And the remarkable Chris and me story, you claimed him back.
I did, yeah. No, I seen him racing in Claimers there, and felt like I was his family over there, and thought it was the least I could do to look after the old boy and claim him and make sure he got a good retirement. Just didn't want to see him, racing week after week. His legs obviously weren't, had a lot of wear and tear on them, and I think he was sort of getting patched up week to week to get to the racetrack, and I just wanted to make sure he had a good retirement and wasn't, raced right down to a lower grade.
Well, he essentially was retired, but you bought him back. Did you get his 50th win?
He did. He ended up, we bought him, I claimed him and turned him out there, and he was running around the paddock, tearing rounds. They decided to give him a little race, and he won a couple of races and got his 50th lifetime win, and then retired not long after that.
I mentioned we're back here at Kentuckiana, and a pretty special night the other night. You got to go to Addington Raceway, and well, there was a young blonde-headed fella that used to follow you around everywhere named Carter, who won with Krug, and he's already told us how special it was for him. It must have been pretty cool for you.
It was cool. It was very cool. I watched the race with Crane, actually, watched Carter out there doing his thing. It's, forget, you know, when I was first here, he was just a little tot, you know, and sort of seen him grow up. See what he's doing out there now, mate, does make me very proud, to be honest, Greg, and he's, you know, on the track and off the track, I think he's doing awesome. So he's only going to looks like he's going to get better as well, and so we might have to try and get him over our way one day.
All right, what do you make of Krug? He drove him beautifully the other night because obviously he led and won the Invercargill Cup, but yeah, he's handling himself, isn't he?
He definitely is, you know. I know. I was talking to Cram one day when he was yelling, breaking him in, or you know, and before he started racing, he told me about Krug. Thought he was pretty special, and he obviously is. So, you know, like the other night, you know, you don't have to be forward all the time. It was a good, beautiful drive for him, and you know, so the horse had a bit of a bad little period there, but he's showing his stuff now. Hopefully, he continues it as well.
And your other great mate, Blair Orange, drove him to win the New Zealand Derby, a race that you've won with Lochaburn, of course, and. Look, he's won now 5 premierships, so he's halfway to your 10, but you must be pretty proud of what Blair Nathan's been able to achieve too, given how much time you spent with him, particularly travel-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, you know, seems the older the sticks he gets, the better he's getting, you know. He's like a, you know, fine wine, but yeah, he's doing great. He's still putting the hard yards in, Greg, and, you know, still winning lots of races, and it's great to come back and see him and catch up. Obviously, we've got a lot of memorable times together, and so no, he's doing awesome. Seems to hopefully can continue that New Zealand Cup winning treat on too.
Yeah, he's going well, isn't he? He's certainly enjoying what he's doing. Dex, your daughter Mila, you getting to spend some time with her. I saw you at the races the other night with her. Yeah, the father-daughter bond's a pretty special one.
It is a special one. Yeah, I mean it's great to see Mila and spend time with her. It's you know, no matter what race I've won, I think there's no better feeling than your own kids. So my daughter, she's a special little girl, and it's been great to catch up with her.
Right, she's 7.
She's 7 now.
Yeah. She got the horse bug?
Oh, badly, Grego. Yeah, badly. You know, she's down there right now on the pony, dealing with it. So no, she loves it.
All right, what do we do for Dexter Dunn, or what do you do for the next 10 years? Do you plan that far out, or are you just taking it year by year and just doing your absolute best?
Yeah, I guess I haven't made a plan for 10 years' time. I think you just go year by year. But, you know, just keep racing, and, you know, we all want to win those big races. It's a good thrill to be involved on Hamiltonian Day, on Breeders' Crown nights and stuff over there. So, at the moment, you know, if you could say my 10-year plan, will be try and win a Breeders' Crown in 10 years' time as well. So just keep going at it.